y'all, welcome back to the Hackshack. Today I'm gonna start on a little mini journey here. This may end up being broken up into a few parts, but this involves my home getting an upgrade to fiber-based 2 gigabit internet service, symmetrical, 2 gig up, 2 gig down is supposedly what I'll be getting. We'll see if I get close to that or not. But the big thing here is the equipment that it's going to take. You know, it's real common now for 1 gigabit, but once you go over 1, you know, typically, or for a long time, the big jump was to 10. And personally, that's what I'll be doing. So we won't be talking about any 2.5 or 5 gig stuff here. Some months ago, maybe even years ago, I think, Retro Combs had mentioned he had heard that we were going to be getting a fiber gigabit or higher option here in the town we live in. It was very slow going, you know how these things go. But finally, it started to look like it was going to happen. And last summer, I bought some equipment that I thought I might need to be able to redo a couple of things and to take advantage of this higher bandwidth. And I haven't even opened it up. It's still sitting there. What's funny is even my cable modem service had kind of just had a free upgrade to 1.2 gig. So I was leaving 200 megs or so on the table, which is kind of weird because just that amount that was kind of ignored or thrown away would have been a huge amount not that many years ago. Because, you know, like many of you, I remember when like T1, thinking about having a T1 for home was like personal, like holy grail kind of thing that would never be attainable. What I'm going to walk you through here is I'm going to show you a few things about the install just in case you're interested and let you know, like, this is delivered on fiber, but if you're in the usual corporate environment, you know, you're used to seeing like 2 fiber strands, like one for transmit and one for receive. Now this is delivered as a GPON service, and so the transmit and the receive is muxed into one fiber. So I thought that was kind of neat. And if you're not familiar with that, maybe I'll throw something up here just to show how that works. So basically there's a thing out at the curb that they installed several months ago when they were running the initial fiber. The technician came and checked in, opened that up, decide which fiber he was going to use for our service here, pulled that out, and made a splice, which was really cool. Check out this fusion splicer. It's kind of neat. You cut the fiber, you lay it in there, and basically hit a button and it'll like move it together, line it up, and then boom, throws an arc across there, across these 2 electrodes, and it fuses it, like it makes it one piece of fiber. Really cool. So that was neat to see the guy do that. And he also actually had to do it when he came inside the house too. I'll show a picture here of the outside box, and you can see they did the little trench, a little short trench. It was fine. And we got it into the house here. But the big thing is, I don't have a way right now to even test. I don't have anything in my home that's over 1 gig interface. So what I did was I purchased a couple of these PCIe cards that have the SFP Plus port on them. And this box, this Nokia, I'll show a picture of, it hands off copper 1 gig or 2 gig. I'm not sure if it'll do any of the other speeds, but it'll definitely do 1 and 10, sorry. It'll do 1 gig and 10 gig. And so I got a copper SFP Plus 10 gig thing here. And so what I'm going to do is my first baseline test here, and let's see if we get our advertised speeds. That I've got this NIC here, and here's the SFP adapter I got, SFP Plus copper 10 gig. So I'm going to throw that in here. And then this is just, like I said, I don't have an active system. This is a motherboard I've used before. You may have seen it on the channel. It's just an old AMD type board. This has a FX4350 and 16 gigs of RAM. Not that that really matters for this. But anyway, you know, instead of usually like when people stick video cards in here, I'm going to use this to actually run this 10 gig card. And I'm going to fire this up and we will do a little basic testing here. So this just has, I've got a thumb drive here with, I think, just the, it's not even the most recent, just a version, maybe from last year of Manjaro, like the install live boot setup. And we will see how that goes, and we'll boot that up. There's a little Cat 5 jumper that's going over to the little Nokia box from the fiber company. And again, yeah, I'm not using any kind of fancy Cat 6 or anything. It's normal Cat 5, which is technically okay for short runs, contrary to what some folks may say. Is Cat 6 and Cat 6E better than Cat 5 and Cat 5e? Yes, I'm not arguing that. It's definitely better, but you don't necessarily have to have it depending on your situation. All right, so here we are back in with the Firefox started up. So I'm gonna just go in here real quick and go to fast.com, you know, which is the Netflix one. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see what it says the upload is. That usually is hidden up under here. 620, 630. Not 2 gig, but probably don't need that kind of speed in the direction of Netflix, but still pretty darn good. Better than anything I've had before. Well, let's do it one more time and see if it's similar. We're looking pretty close. Well, it looks pretty good to me. Let's go check out, you know, what is it, the Google one that just pops up if you just Google speed test? I think it's the Google one, right? Yeah, let's do that. See what that says. And of course, I think the connection can do it, but it's not doing as well downloading it from there. Still pretty nice, but makes me want to do it over here on my gigabit cable and see if it does any better compared. Wonder if it's a path thing or something. But it's another point of data here. Upload 250, 530 there. Let's do it one more time, see if it's any better. 500 down, 20, 210, 212 up. So that's that one. Now let's go over and, you know, usual speedtest.net. So this was always the bane of stuff at a job, or if you ever work in corporate networking, because folks will you know, depending on what kind of speed and load you've got to the internet, that's different than your internal stuff, and folks will complain about internal thing being slow, and then they'll attach the results from a speed test from one of these things, which is, you know, apples and oranges when talking about internal network performance. So in this case, it's actually what I'm wanting to do on purpose. So looks like it's gonna hit Indy, so let's see what that does. Getting close to 2, not too bad. Let's see what the upload is. Pretty good. Not 2 gigs, but still pretty good. And you know, I don't even know that I'll keep the 2 gig service. I just want to see if it works and play with it some. I may ultimately go back to the 1 gig up down, because the upload speed is the real thing I was looking for. So let's see here. Let me close this. So 18 down, 1.8 down, 1.2 up. Let's do that one more time. Not looking as good on the second time. Oh, maybe so. It's taking a minute to ramp up. So that time it was 1.7 down, 1.3 up, so not too bad. That is that. That's pretty good. I feel pretty comfortable about the service probably working relatively close to what it's supposed to be. I didn't have a way to test it fully before, and the installer testing with wireless, and they had their provided access point router combo, which I'm not going to use, but that's what he tested on. And you know, I think he was getting 600 megs or something, 6 or 8, I forget. That's about as good as you could do for the particular wireless that thing had, I believe, per client, or with the type of client or phone he had. So let me switch back over here. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do now is, so I just wanted to know at a basic level if it was working relatively close to advertised speeds, and I think it is. So now I'm going to go grab a firewall, because my current one, and I'll show a picture of, I've loved this firewall, but the current one only has 1 gig interfaces. So like I mentioned before, several months ago, I purchased a firewall that has 10 gig interfaces. Well, it has 1 gig too, but it has 2 10 gig interfaces. So I'm going to be probably using one for in and one for out on this. So let me go grab that, and if I'm unboxing it and show it, I'll show that here coming up, and then we'll get that on the bench. And I want to do some testing with it, and maybe test traffic of this device going through that to see if that box will keep up with, you know, over 1 gig going through it, because that'll be a big deal once I get, you know, if I switch over and have the whole family running behind that, I need to know that it can keep up. So I'll be right back with that. So this is a WatchGuard Firebox M500. So you've got several gigabit copper, and then you got these 2 SFP plus ports. Actually, those were not SFP plus ports. They're just regular SFP ports. And because of that, I believe we're gonna wrap this one up right about now and split this up before the video gets too long. But basically though, back when I ordered all my gear, I wasn't really thinking about having something higher than 1 gig for the WAN side. And I had been thinking about doing some 10 gig stuff for internal reasons. And I think I got those kind of crossed up, and later, after I'd originally pre-ordered my 1 gig service, there was an offering to have 2 gig for the same price for a year. So I took that up, and then somewhere along the lines I got that crossed up. So I found myself a little bit surprised at that point, but to see how I dealt with that and what I did to move forward, I'm going to split that up and let you see that in the next video, where I just focus mainly on making the firewall work. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.